hello everybody. Oh, hold up, this is not meant to be there. There we go, got rid of that. Audio all fine. Yeah, it looks fine on my end. Hello, can you guys hear me? Is everything okay? Is the mic good? Yeah, that should all be good for now. Let me just double check one thing over here quickly. Chat, can you guys hear me? There we go, that's better. Yes, sounding all good is what everyone is saying. Yes, hello everyone. It's just gonna be me for today, but we're doing yet another bonus stream for you all. We're doing Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy on the PlayStation 4 in particular. Yes, and I'm super excited to go talk about that one. But first, I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat. We have got in the chat Zarek002, Stu Sharp, A7X Scott, Kinda Dorky is here as well. We got Kodatin Womble, Infospheres, Archduke Prussia, Richty92, Zarek Double. Oh, I already said to Zarek hello. We got Crazy Murdaff. We got Infospheres as well saying, apparently I have ruined Infospheres' entire schedule, apparently. We got Low Mode here as well. We have got Georgia, who is here as well. We have got Kirby Rawstorn here as well. INJ, I see Demos Clay, Moriax, Spoony is here. Silent Reset. Hello, welcome on in. Crash Bandicoot 1 is here as well with the salute emotes. Citizen Insane, welcome on in. Frank RTW is here as well. Wonderful. Yes, okay, so there we go. Everything is working. Crazy Murdoch is Rosie. Is she playing Yakuza? Rosie, if you are playing Yakuza, could you come over here in the room quickly and say yes in the mic? We'll see if she's actually playing Yakuza. You would know in a second. But what is it? Yeah, hold up. I think there she's come. Yes. There you go. Happy like a dragon day, Rosie. It's here. It's here. Yeah. So happy. Yeah. Yeah, so what is it? I'm providing you all with a bonus stream because Capcom has been lovely again towards us and has provided us with a code for Ace Attorney Trilogy HD. For those who do not know what Ace Attorney Trilogy HD is, this is the second trilogy that the Ace Attorney franchise has. Initially, we had the original trilogy with Phoenix Wright. That was 1, 2, and 3. And now we've got Apollo Justice, which is 4, 5, and 6. I've got a little bit of a history with these games as well, and I thought it's worth sharing that with you all as well. So I've got all my games over here. Mike's in the way. Hold up. As you can see. And I grew up with all like the DS games myself. I grew up with Phoenix Wright 1, 2, 3, and 4 on DS. I grew up with Dual Destinies on 3DS. I played them on actually when Rosie and I were dating. Come to think of it, because when I was traveling by plane, I was looking for a game to play, and that was the game that I decided to play. Wonderful game. It's also included in this collection. And Spirit of Justice I played on my phone at the time because I was out of commission with my 3DS. So I had no other way to play it, and I really wanted to play it. So that's how I played that one. There's one thing over here that is worth mentioning. So there's also a Naruhodo Legends collection, as you can see over here. Lovely box art, by the way. Because it turns out that the main protagonist for this game in particular has the same name as Phoenix in Japanese. And basically with these two trilogies, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure because I don't want to go on the record for saying something wrong, but I believe these ones are international, which means that you can put them up in English as well. So that's why we got these ones, because we like to have these games physical. But yes, as you can see, I've played a lot of Phoenix Wright and Ace Attorney games. Oh, I forgot to put Miles Edgeworth here as well. I've got that one as well. Yeah, absolute wonderful games in the franchise. It's been a big one for me as a kid. Apollo Justice was probably the one that introduced it to me. So I am super excited to show you all what this franchise has in store for you. Are there anybody in the chat that has played the Phoenix Wright games before? Because yeah, it started for me with Apollo Justice, and then I did Phoenix Wright 1, 2, and 3, which is not really like the best order to do it, but that's just how I did it. Zarek002 says I've only seen them. Frank RTW says I've only seen number 1. Yeah, for me, when it comes to like which ones I love the most, I'd say I really like Phoenix Wright 3. This is Trials and Tribulations. It's the... What is it? Give me 1 sec. It's this one over here. And yeah, that one is absolutely phenomenal. I remember when Rosie didn't have played this one back then. I told her this is one of the best DS games ever. You've got to play this one day. And then when Rosie finished it on her DS at the time, she was like, "Oh my god, Nico, you were so right. This is so good." So yeah, if you haven't played the original trilogy, I would highly recommend you do check those out as well. They're practically on every system these days. They're very hard to miss. So absolutely worth it. Stu Sharp says, I've played pretty much all of them, though I think Dual Destiny was my first one. See, there you go. Like, it just depends which one is the most convenient for you to play, isn't it? So yeah. Online Score says, I played the first one a few years ago. Do plan on finishing it at some point. Yeah, that's the thing with these, right? It's like such a huge story and an investment. But luckily, Capcom has made them very accessible, and they're a lot of fun. I'd say out of all 6 of them that we are talking about right now, I think they're all of like very equal quality. So you can't really go wrong with them. There's some overlap between them, but it's not like you necessarily have to play the other ones to enjoy it. But I would highly recommend it. But yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about it. If you are new here to BuddyGames, like I said, my name's Nico. We're actually a team of 3. We have Rosie and Liam involved as well. However, we all have our schedules after all, and I was the only one available for today. But hey, we had our normal schedule, plus we already did a stream yesterday for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which we had 1 day early, I will have to say. I'm super proud for saying that. Absolutely loved it. Thank you, Guillotine, for making that possible. But yes, we're providing you with another stream because Capcom was so loving to us. So yes, we have the book over here. It's called the Book of Eternity. The chat will gladly inform you what the Book of Eternity is as well with the emotes. But yes, if you sub, give bits, donate, or raid towards us, or gift anything through Throne for us, your name will be noted down in the Book of Eternity. And yeah, at the end of the stream, we will give you a shout out. So like Kirby is doing over here now. Let's see if the alert is working. Kirby. Rawstorm. Kirby, did the alert pop up? We are, because everything had to be updated again in the Buddy Bunker. No, in the Juice Lab. I think it worked. Did you guys see anything? I'm just gonna do it again. I didn't see it, but I'm also doing several times. Okay, there it is. Yeah, okay, it is working. Wonderful. Right, I'm gonna go into the game. I'm going to set up a poll in a second as well, asking you all, what game do you want me to play? Because there's a trilogy for this one. They obviously vary with what they provide and what they do. We're gonna do the first case of all of them, as in like if we have to pick one. So yes, you have to pick between those. Sorry, I'm very bad with talking and typing at the same time. This is why BuddyGames is a team of people, because it's it's hard to keep up with everything at the same time. There we go. Game number 6. Ooh, excuse me. I'll just have to do it awkwardly like this. There we go. And yes, we can then decide which one we're going to play. So my personal favorite out of the 3 is going to have to be Apollo Justice for its first case. So if you want to do that one, then vote for that one. But obviously, you guys might want to see something else. Right? You guys might want to see Dual Destinies, which is the 3DS one, and where you see how they translated the style over to 3D, which you can also highly recommend. It's also worth mentioning this game comes out in many other languages. I'm not entirely sure which languages, but it's basically like the normal range of European languages. So if we have any German speakers, for instance, in the chat, there is an option for that as well. I've heard from people that those translations are pretty good as well, so that is a thing. Sengui can't make it because it's Tekken 8. Yes, Tekken 8 is out today as well. Rosie and I had some fun with the story mode for Tekken 8, and it was pretty good, wasn't it, Rosie? It was pretty good. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, chat, but yeah, Rosie and I are very, very big fans of the story in the Tekken games. Let's see. Citizen N says that Capcom are good eggs. Yes, Capcom is one of my favorite companies that releases games. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the Mega Man X franchise myself. So yeah, I do love what Capcom brings to the table. Oh my god, and obviously Resident Evil, of course. That's a big one for me as well. Crazy Murder said, I played it once but hated it because it had missable trophies and I needed a guide and then lost the magic with it. Ooh. Understandable. What do we have here on a Friday night? It's only a bonus Babybel. Yeah, I could have worn my Babybel shirt for today. I might do that if it gets too warm over here. And it's Apollo Justice who won. Thank you so much, buddies, for voting for that one. Right, I'm going to bring it now into the game. Let me know if the audio is working for that one as well, but it should be all good. There we go. Alley-oop. Double audio. Hold up. That ain't right. That ain't right. At least on my end. One sec. Why do I hear the game twice? Okay, it's fine on your end. Just give me a sec. Oh, I think I know why. Sorry, chat. This is all technical stuff going on over here. I need to focus for a second. Can you guys still hear it? Everything fine? This should do it for me. And also, go on, Scully. Good to see you, Scully. Everyone, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Kevin Scully because he's going to play one of the greatest on Sunday. Yes, Kevin Scully is going to provide you all with his first experience. Well, not technically first, but it's been a while. Of Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 1. He's going to be playing it on Xbox One. No, Xbox Series X. So please look forward to that one. It's going to be a blast. The Skull Nation are in for a treat indeed. Wonderful game. I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time in 2020, believe it or not. And I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. So yes, I'm super excited for it. Right, I think I've stalled enough for now. Right, let's go to the game section over here. So already we see the key art for Apollo Justice, released in 2008 for the Nintendo DS. I'm going to quickly scroll through the other ones. So we've done that as well. This is Dual Destinies, where Athena Sykes shows up. Athena is a wonderful addition to the Phoenix Wright franchise. I love her necklace mechanic that she's got in the game. Absolutely worth it as well. And your third game you've got over here was the Spirit of Justice, which is the most recent installment in the timeline. And we're all hoping that maybe one day we're going to get an Ace Attorney 7. But we'll have to wait and see if that day will come. But yes, that's basically what you get with these games. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can also, you can pick which case you want to do as well, straight from the bat. So if, let's say, you picked it up on a different platform or years ago and you want to continue, well, all you have to do is just pick a different episode. So that's an extremely cool feature that this collection's got. Josh is in the chat as well. Hello, Josh. Better get an Ace Attorney 7. I missed this series so much. Me too, man. It's been so long since we've had these games. I've been loving The Great Ace Attorney, though. Rosie and I have been playing The Great Ace Attorney on PS4, and it's been insanely cool. Sorry, it's about to start. Here we go, chat. Oh, George, you've got so much to catch up on if you're going to start this, but it's so worth it. They are phenomenal story-driven games. Very relaxing as well. I would recommend getting them on something like a Switch. Showdown time. going on? He got murdered. I seem to have a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that? Oh, should it come to that? Over a card game? I know, right? What a rage quitter. Well, the first round? 420, baby. At 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Panicked. Palms sweaty. I can't admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Oh, it's Christoph. Okay. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No. I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift got him, sir! I'm all over that drift! As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, yes, I'm fine, sir! Oh, and one more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you for the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. Thank you everyone for giving points to the Return of the King challenge. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm the new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Ooh. What voice shall we give him, chat? Shall we go, shall we give him like a bit of a raspy, snaky voice? I'll wait for the chat, see what voice you guys would like to hear for this character. Raspy? Okay. I'm just gonna wait to see what other people have to say. Give us some grit. Okay, we want a bit of raspy then. Frank says I'm not saying a word. Very high pitch says Crash Bandicoot 1. Go jaded and tired. That's a good one. I think I'll go jaded, tired, and raspy for now. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial. Nervous. Meeting him? Cardiac arrest. I think I'm surprised to say something. Help? So you're... Fine! I'm fine! Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you. I did remember you having an old name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend, so why? You'll see. Huh? You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time. Shall we? Yes, sir. As all voice acting I do ends up from being north of England. Okay, I need to focus. First trial, here comes justice. April 20th at 10 a.m. Oh, it's cool to see he's in high res. Right, I need to get very low for his one. Voice? No. The court's now in session.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind's going blank. Don't panic. It's too late. Your name, Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine. Really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds quite a bit strained. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. This was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. My client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to his greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of... Excuse me, but does he have cords of steel? Then let's begin. The defendants may enter the courtroom. Yes, he's got cords of steel, which doesn't really come through in the this universe, of course, because there's no voice acting. But yeah, it is a big thing for Apollo, and everyone in the chat can already vouch for that as well. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put that in the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, a piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind to explain the charges, Mr. Payne.
To think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains.
Mr. Payne, subtle as ever, I see. Hobbitani, thanks so much for the hydrate. Also, by the way, very quickly, the music is done by the same composer who did the music in Mega Man X. So if you like the music in Mega Man X 4, 5, and 6 and stuff, there's a good chance that you're going to like the soundtrack as well. I love the soundtrack for Apollo Justice.
The crime occurred at the Borch Bowel Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head, smack, killed him cold.
A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was...
The pianist for the club, it seems.
Phoenix Wright? A pianist?
This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice.
The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. It's quite impressive that, you hit someone with that bottle and it's still intact. Yeah, exactly, Frank. Good point. I think this might actually be censorship. And they're just like, oh, let's just make it grape juice instead. So they can remove references of alcohol in the West. But don't quote me on that. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filled in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record, right! I've heard of that! Use R1 to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right. Just use R1. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant.
But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow?
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor.
A traveler?
According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear.
Did he have some sort of connection with the defendants?
That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borched Bao Hotel on the night of the crime.
If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing?
That doesn't appear to have been the case. No. The motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least, not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself.
Indeed. It appears that our defendant has fallen to become a berserk sort of criminal.
Objection!
It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in the blue frame, know its final outcome. Come again?
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women.
That will be our first order of business there, then. To find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well. Defendants. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held to the night of the crime. My pleasure.
This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. So far, by the way, the art looks really good. When Apollo Justice came out on the DS, it was the first game that was made with DS graphics in mind, because the original came out on Game Boy Advance, believe it or not. So seeing these models like upscaled to what it is right now looks super nice. I bet they based it off of the official art from the art book.
I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. And that's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano?
Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
Very well. The defense may begin their cross-examination.
So I think at this point there should probably be a bit of context for newcomers in the chat. Obviously, the defendant here is Phoenix Wright himself from the first 3 games, who's now being convicted for murder. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it.
Are you alright? You're sweating bullets.
Bullets where?
It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too.
My brain feels strained and raspy, sir.
You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher?
What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination? So I'm going to say no for now, because I already know what it is. So yeah, I'll just press no thanks for now. No need for help here, sir. I think I've got this one covered.
I think you better do more than you think. You know it, or you do not. I'm fine. The cords of steel are ready for battle. My weapons. Press and present. Find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it.
Moriax, yeah, the thing as well is that it all happens in the same town, which is incredibly concerning, like how much murder that happens in this place.
Inconsistencies? Lies? Mr. Wright?
As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. Apollo clearly hasn't played the other games.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Right, so, and this is where the gameplay really starts kicking in for games like Apollo Justice in mind. So, I'll just quickly explain to the chat what's going on. So, obviously, this is the witness right now. Or, in this case, it's the victim. No, the accused. And he just gave his speech, as we just saw. And what we can do with that is we need to find the thing that's wrong about it. Now, we have two weapons that we can use. We can either present something, and this is usually what you use to objectify to to object to what they're saying. So if you believe that they say something, for instance, I drank from a blue bottle and you have a red bottle, you present that bottle to them. However, if there's nothing that seems wrong with it, sometimes it's best to use the press thing, which is L1 in this situation. And that's usually what most Phoenix Wright people would do. They would just, Phoenix Wright players would do. They would just press L1 and then just see where it goes from there. So I'm going to be pressing on a lot of these ones until I think I found the inconsistency. So this is a part for you as chat where you can play along and see if you can find what's wrong with it. Also worth mentioning, before you present, you can see the evidence over here, and sometimes it's even worth scanning the evidence. Like, for instance, if you press details over here, you can spin the bottle around, and sometimes if you look at these things, you can find something. Like, I know, for instance, if you grab Apollo's badge, which, by the way, you can also present. If you look at that one, you'll find hidden details, like over here. Like, this is just his, excuse me, how do I spin it? You'll find, like, his actual tag number. So, it's also a nice little game where you get 3D objects and you have to find what's wrong with them. And that's what made Apollo Justice stick out from its peers at the time. Because Phoenix Wright 1, 2, and 3 came out on Game Boy Advance. He didn't really have this at the time yet. So yes, let's go away from the badge. Kevin Skills says, spin the bottle. Now that is a Friday night. I'm surprised, Kevin, that you're not in the pub tonight. Because normally you're like in the pubs on Friday. Right. Okay, let's just go start pressing it first. You can hardly play?
Oh, I play sometimes. When customers demand it. So, I play them one song. That's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask. A respectable face, I fear. For the world at large. Then why are you really at the Borch Ball Club? My real job is to take on interested customers all over the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are club's main attractions. I don't think there's anything really wrong with that. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. Well, this is usually like how you have to think with Phoenix Wright over the Ace Attorney games. If they say something very objective, like this is blue, it happened at this time, or this was involved with it, that's usually your instigator of like, okay, maybe you can prove that there's something wrong with it. So, Phoenix proclaims that they've used 2 decks of cards. But if you look at the table, you will see that there's 1 deck of cards over there. So I think that's our case here. Now, I am gonna be a bit of a scum with it. I will save in advance. Let's see.
There we go. Just in case. Because you can be punished actually for doing something wrong in this game. Like in your top right, you see there's a life bar, and every time I would get something wrong, the judge will get impatient with me, and the more impatient the judge gets with me, basically I would get into a game over. So it's very important for me to obviously not just waste the court's time. Oh, right, yeah, of course. There we go. See, now you can see the life bar above me. Right, let's present the picture. I think that's the one. So another tip for Phoenix Wright fans: the music always stops if you're correct in this moment. So if the music stops now, we know we're on the money. Objection! We were not on the money. No, I got a trophy for it. Oh, I've got autoplay on.
I'm sorry, but I see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Justice.
I must be on the wrong track. Okay, well, let's press it instead. Pity trophy, says Georgia.
2 decks of cards?
That's what the thumbnail is based off of, by the way, of that frame.
A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks of cards, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I've noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Each one is forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we have 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker you have 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. Huh? That's all it is, a game, and our customers are happy.
Right, maybe we can prove that he wasn't so happy. No, we can't really prove that he was angry, but I'll press it anyways. Because it's like you're not really holding hands, you know what I mean? I think that's what they were going for. So, you claim you weren't gambling?
That's right. It was simply a game.
You didn't bet any money? Not even a little?
The only thing at stake in our game was pride itself. Well put, Mr. Wright. I've got a mind to play a hand of poker myself. The stakes, your fate.
Can we get back to the trial now?
I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to jump to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press.
Right, I got it. I'm fine.
Time to listen to that testimony again.
Right, so I'm guessing we need to press a little bit more. Because if you press, sometimes they'll change the testimony a little bit. And when they change it, that's usually like your indicator of like, okay, maybe I can present something else. Okay. Let's do this one.
You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes, when customers demand it.
Oh, we've had this one. Let me just skip ahead. Also probably worth mentioning as well is that there's an autoplay button as well. So if you, what Rosie and I have been doing, if we have dinner, for instance, and we just want to eat rather than play, we'll just autoplay Ace Attorney games, which is wonderful, by the way. So that's another thing you can do. Right, let's press this one, see if anything changes.
They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I'm a professional after all.
Ha! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine.
Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?
I've played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost once. What? You see where the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite the draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? Good evening, TRG. Welcome on in. We're doing a solo stream of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney because Rosie and Liam are too busy right now. Plus, we have a very busy schedule anyway, so what is it? We're doing an extra bonus stream for today. Let's press this one. The room in a crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite the story, actually. The Borched Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. But black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there are a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. A smoking room. Gambling hoods. You know, just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through the small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. This competition you're talking about, I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right! It was a simple game after all! Are you sure? Uh-huh. People are murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room at the very moment that crime was occurred. Yet you claim no connection to the crime? Now, that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition last night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. Oh, I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair that yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well. The defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. So yeah, if you look at the lower right now, you can see there's now 6 dots rather than 5. So now you know there's extra bit of information now. I pled silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Now, that is usually an indicator of something being up. So let's have a look at the evidence, because we could probably very easily prove this. Well, there you go. Deadly bottle and the grape juice bottle.
No, that's
was
not
used as a murder weapon. Oh, hold up. Who did that one? Crash Bandicoot 1. Thank you so much for that. You're going in the Book of Eternity. Now, chat, I'm going to very quickly
refill my drink. I'm going to put the game on autoplay for a little bit so that you guys can keep up with it. But I'm just going to refill my water quick. I'll be back in a minute. Here we go.
Objection!
Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and our case.
But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about the fingerprints on the bottle in a restaurant?
Well, that's true.
The prints are...
Objection! Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh? I hold this stream in contempt. Welcome in, Liam. Hope you're doing well.
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean?
It means he was holding the bottle inverted. And there can only be one reason for that. Yes! To brain someone with the bottle!
Oh! Mr. Gavin, I think things have took a turn for the worse.
Oh? I see no problem, Justice.
Huh?
The thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You shall see. Defendants, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand my plea of silence regarding the murderer. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's cooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. You seem to have forgotten something. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported it?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still, that...
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder weapon was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level.
By the way, can I just say, this music, listen to it. Listen to how groovy it is.
Of course, cell phones cannot get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground.
Owens goes, hello, Liam. Liam calling us lovely. What's he done now? I got in voice series. I got my my acting voice up. That's why the line was so weird. See, Liam, you're not on stream and you still can't escape it. Hot Battalion, thank you so much for the bits. I am very happy to see you still joined us after those horrendous spaghetti comments after yesterday.
The call came from the first floor of the restaurant. I see. And this is the phone that made the call?
Objection, says Mr. James Ether. Welcome in, Mr. James Ether. Liam has found the contract ripping emote.
The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he's so close, if he so choose. Yet, he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative?
Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this.
I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime was occurred. How can you possibly know this? That is a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say they are. So someone was in the room of the night of the crime. That must mean they've witnessed the crime.
Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Oh, hold on just a moment. Where is the witness?
So, before I continue, I'll quickly say as well, if you have never played any Ace Attorney games, Ace Attorney games are also known for their extremely colorful characters. They bring a lot of character to the table. They are very dynamic. They have crazy good art to them as well. It is an absolute joy to see what kind of characters are involved with every case. The character at hand over here is also amazing. Yeah, Georgia says, she says, why is this lady on the stand holding a tray? Well, if you think that is the weirdest thing that can happen in this game, in these franchises, then you haven't seen anything yet. And that's only a good thing, because that means there's so much for you to unravel. There's so many fantastic characters in the universe, and they have so many fantastic puns to them as well, in Japanese as well as in English. But yeah, it's fantastic. Liam says, right, I'm gonna watch a film instead. See ya. I'm like, okay, no worries, Liam. You enjoy that movie instead. Just leave us to just have fun with the game that we got for free from Capcom. No worries. Can you believe that, man, chat? Can you believe it? Anyways, I'm gonna continue.
Where's the witness?
I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns.
So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people.
Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out.
Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Well, if you're sure it is okay.
I'm gonna do my worst Russian accent, by the way, so apologize for anybody who's from Russia that watches us. Anyways.
Wait a minute. Could the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools by her trade.
And that would be?
My name is Olga Orly. I am employed as waitress at Borscht Ball Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve Borscht, that is naming restaurant. But I also perform, how is it said, other service.
I take it that one of those services is taking the customer's pictures?
Like for example, this one.
Oh, that's the defendant!
Indeed, on the night of the murder. Man in white head. It is one has gone kaput.
Indeed, that is the victim.
Whoa. This track, by the way, is so good that they've kept this track for like 12 years in the franchise. They didn't touch a single bit of it until Dual Destinies.
Order! Order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our labs.
It is same as I drop cold balls of borscht on laps of customers, casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence.
Olga's photo.
Now, witness! Where were you at the time of the murder?
It's probably worth pointing out as well. Like I said, the game is full of puns. If you go to her profile, you'll see that she's called Olga Orly. So yeah. And I got Winston Payne, Phoenix Wright, Shady Smith. As you can see, there's loads of like little puns that they give the characters' names. It is the people that translate Ace Attorney and the Like a Dragon franchise who are easily my favorite translators in this industry. They are so ridiculously good.
I was in room. The hideout, we call it.
Excuse me? The hideout?
It is room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. It's a room where murder took place.
What?
Your look of utter surprise, it is lovely. I will post my courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered and you will write which ones you will want copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime.
The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright.
The victim, Shady Smith, Phoenix Wright, and Olga Orly. Our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Oh, who else could have done it?
Very well. Witness! You will testify to the court about the night's events.
We got 49 people watching. Thank you so much for coming along and putting up with this horrendous voice acting. It is very, very nerve-wracking knowing that we have professional voice actors who have channeled in on BuddyGames. And yeah, and then here I am. Anyways, but I'm going to make the best of it.
That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on, locket at his neck.
Quickly also want to say, what's great about the Phoenix Wright games is that they make perfect usage of the text, because the text is half the character, obviously, with this. So the way how the text scrolls and pauses and the little sound effects that they add as well, like how there is a different beep for a different person that they use. But for instance, for her, because they kind of want to give her this Russian impression, like she can not speak English as well as a native speaker, they break up the sentences, because if you look, you can see there's a little space between place and whole time. So yeah, it's interesting how they've done that. Spoony, no worries. Have a good one tomorrow, and obviously have a good night. Thank you so much for coming along, and hopefully we'll see you on Sunday for Overblood 2. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on, locket at his neck. Oh, that was really bad. Then, last hand is done, but something has terrible happened. That man flew at victim and is strangling him. I can't do a Russian accent, chat. I'm really trying. Him to death.
Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
Objection! That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose.
Justice? Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection?
But he hasn't lost in 7 years.
Take it from me, kid. It happens.
That's funny because Payne has done loads of cases with Phoenix Wright. I should probably also reiterate, what is it? Winston Payne is always the first case in any Ace Attorney game. So ever since the very first game, he is there. So he's in the first game, second game, from there on out and stuff. So, and he always loses that case as well. And that's what he's referring to over here for a little bit of context.
Incidentally, I have some evidence here.
This is like the funniest thing, by the way. You can never, ever do this in a real court case. You can't just come along and say, this is the evidence. What is it for this? This is some extra evidence that I happen to have on me. You can't do that. You have to submit your evidence before the court case, and then you can refer to it. You can't just come along and say, oh, this is the murder weapon. Haha, I forgot to bring it with me. Sengui says, above all else, I can. Mary Break, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, the autopsy report just gets updated mid-court. There's a compilation, Mary Break, you should look it up, of actual lawyers responding to that moment in Phoenix Wright, and they all just collectively throw their hat away. They're just like, they're so done with with these court cases. Like, you can't do that. But anyways, it's a game after all. We're just having fun here.
These are the poker chips as they lay the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belongs to Mr. Defendant, Phoenix Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
So, if we look at the hands already, chat, let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Because we claim that Phoenix Wright never loses, right? But that's not his hand. The hand on top is playing. So, yeah, if you give a quick glance, you will see that, yeah, Phoenix wasn't really winning, was he?
Chips, you say?
I mean, yes! Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils.
I know that, after all. The poker head of courtroom number 3.
I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture.
Yeah, I'll put myself away for a second. There we go. Yeah, Mr. James Ether, we got loads of new emotes. I'm going to have to filter through them down the line, but I saw they popped up for us yesterday, and I didn't want to waste them for the stream, so I instantly put all of our Discord emotes in there as well. So yeah, I will probably filter some out in the future, but for now, please enjoy them. No, but that's the thing, Sengui. If you look on the top right, you'll see that Shady Smith has a royal flush with kings and aces. Whereas Phoenix, below, he's got sevens and aces. So Phoenix was losing in this one, even though he proclaims he's not losing.
It does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table.
Chips photos, yep. And has less chips. Very good point, Sengui.
Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Sengui, did you ever play this game back in the day? That fateful night. Okay. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he placed the whole time with his hand on locket and his neck. That man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death. Well, that's interesting. Because, what is it? We got a murder weapon with a bottle. Let's have a look. Anything else on here? No. Right, I think we should use this. Let's see what happens.
Objection!
Oh, what? I was wrong. Right, let's reload that one. So we don't lose all of our life bar. This is what literally 90% of Ace Attorney fans do. But sure, add that one to the naughty list if you insist, chat. If you want to call me a cheater or not. Right, I'm gonna press instead.
But the defendant would never do such a thing. Well now, I can't say I've heard the defense try this tactic. If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anybody do something like this over a game of poker?
Perhaps it is because defendant has lost game?
Yes, a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it always is with men like him. Winners can't make sore losers. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do.
But right, sir. Leave it to me. There was only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim? Shit, yeah, we've had this one. Okay. Let's press this one.
His locket?
I believe it was good luck charm? He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift.
Oh, you can't see that. Oh, hold up. Sorry about that, chat. There we go. It should be fine now. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about? I mean, a pendant with a picture in it? Not a rocket? Oh, I'm thinking it's just talking with an accent.
Of course, I knew that. It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's what you called that.
No, a locket's a locket.
It is considered bad form of fun, hard of hearing in our society.
Hard of hearing or hard of understanding?
So, what happened next?
Right, let's press this one.
Something terrible? The defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry.
Now, Miss Orley, can you please tell us what happened?
Oh, I was so frightened. Duh, I trembled in fear. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death. Okay, there's not a lot more we can do. Let's try this one. You were dealing cards. Do you do this often? Duh, I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. It is my work.
It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
Of course, to Borscht Bowl Club, where borscht is as warm as the waitress. Thank you for not understanding, not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. Was it cold though? I mean, Phoenix is wearing slippers there. So try that one? I don't really know what you're going to prove with that though. the whole time. Oh, maybe we can prove he didn't have a locket on him. Hold up. Oh, but he does, though. I don't know, chat, because clearly he didn't strangle him, though. No worries, Kirby. Thank you so much for coming along. And have a great rest of your Friday. Oh, wait. Ah, there we go. I can just use that. Yeah, so I was on the right track with it. I just used the wrong evidence. Hold up. Yeah, I tried the bolt of Frank, but that didn't work. So I'm going to try the autopsy instead because it shows that it's a single blow. Objection! There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's the thing that that tends to happen when you're playing Ace Attorney games, is that you're at the right mindset, you just, you know, showing the wrong evidence and stuff. But it doesn't happen that often, though, in these games, luckily. Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. And it's not like, you know, you can just save and try again. It's like the game does give you loads of tools to work around it, of course. Da, normal customer only choke on borscht. No, I mean, this report shows that the victim died of a single blow to the head. Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime?
Order. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem that he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything.
Yet, it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor.
There we go, and the locket is removed as well.
Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation.
Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This hat certainly was hit.
But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck. Oh, really, Miss Orley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time.
Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more.
What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me.
Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination.
There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it.
There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too.
Okay. So now we've got an extra piece of evidence, which could definitely be useful. Usually when you get new evidence, it means that we can use that to kind of like object, so we should definitely look into that. Right, let's do that. Photo of the forehead, hat removed during the investigation. Okay. So he doesn't have his locket anymore. I mean, we could try to present it. I don't really know what you're trying to prove with that. Because in this photo, he clearly is wearing it, so that means that it got stolen, but I'm gonna try it anyways and see where it goes. Objection! Ah, it did work.
You know, there was one curious part in your testimony.
Just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean?
Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about?
Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you're not about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck?
Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this.
But what does it mean?
If we are to believe the witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death.
Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor.
It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket's gone, someone must have taken it off, no?
Taking it off. Wait, you don't mean
the defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was trying to take off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? The defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes. I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh, you mean this?
Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter.
Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
Which is, it's worth mentioning as well. Phoenix, between the time of Phoenix Wright 3 and Apollo Justice is 7 years. Yet he's got a daughter who looks clearly much older than 7 years. So that's why everyone's like, wait, what? You settled down? You've got a kid? Because that meant that he must have had a kid even before he became a lawyer, but we've never seen them. So that's why everyone is like so perplexed right now.
The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
So Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why did I buy that this is just a coincidence? Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It is clear the defendant lost badly.
Miss Orley, you will testify to the court what happened. You will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Duh. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and... Oh, yeah. And?
Indeed. Looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Ha. How many times have I heard those words? I've done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor. A common tale, but true.
Me thinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said, he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Okay, from the two sizes, yeah, we saw that. The one was winning, it was the victim. Wait, let's save as well. Obviously, she is a robot, yeah. Last had defendant playing with all chips on table and lose. The defendant grabs the bottle from the table. Okay, there is a bottle on the table, yeah. I think I'm just gonna press a little bit, see what happens. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules. If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be exactly 7,000 points.
Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division.
House chips come in 2 sizes.
Quick maths. Let's Crash Bandicoot 1.
Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course.
Something fishy about these chips. Should I press harder? Okay, rule of thumb, if you're playing these games, chat, always press harder. Just do it. It tends to be the right thing to do. Maybe you could explain in a bit about these chips.
Explain? What is there to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fishing chips, not a chip of the old block, and...
Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I'd like better ask something. What are these chips worth? Or are they in dollars or rubles even?
Yet. As I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. 2 types of chips, 100 points chip and 1,000 point chip. It is not money, da.
Okay, so now that we know that, right, let's bring out the maths, chat. Let's bring out the maths. There's 7,000 points, right? Okay, that's already very interesting because if you look, we can see there's 4, 7, 10. There's 10 large chips, so that will make it 10,000. And there are 1 to 6 small ones, so that means there were 10,600 points. So that's the inconsistency.
Justice.
Sir!
Don't you find her comments interesting?
In more ways than one, sir.
I'd have it added to her testimony herself.
Always add it. Always. Always. I've played so many of these games. I can guarantee you, always add it. Add it to the testimony.
I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well. Witness, if you would be so kind.
Da, Your Honor.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna go in there and present it. Objection! There we go. And like I said, if the music stops, you know you're right. You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure?
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points? Now, I hope you've been paying attention, chat, because I've already noticed it. Well, let's see if you guys have noticed it.
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh!
Oh, I thought so too.
But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. And the combined total value of the chips was 7,000.
Yes. If my calculations are correct, let's see. 3 plus 1, carry the 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 and the small are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it?
Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points.
The chips don't add up.
This is clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly. Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why.
Right. There's only one possible way to explain this. Starting points were wrong. Chips count was wrong. Ebac, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome on in, Ebac. Lee, could you give Ebac a shout out? I'll explain in a second why. Thank you so much for the sub. Hope you're doing well, Ebac. Ladies and gentlemen, Ebac the cat is no stranger to Phoenix Wright games, in particular Eternityyy games, because Ebac does silly voices. So if you are really enjoying me doing all these voices for Apollo Justice, you are absolutely entitled to check out Ebac. He's got a lovely crew, very talented as well with voices, and they do it, I think, practically every Saturday, don't you, Ebac? But yeah, you do it very often, and it's pretty much what I'm doing right now as well. Ebac, we were very lucky. Capcom provided us with a code, and because of that, I was like, I have to cover this. I have to do this. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I hope you're doing well, Ebac. I think the amount of chips is right. The starting points are definitely right. I think they were both right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, I have to show you this, Ebac. You're gonna love this. So Rosie and I spoiled ourselves a while ago, and we got this. Do you know what this is? It's basically a collection that you get for these. It's a Japanese one because only in Japan this came out, but they are supposedly international, which means you can set them to English. But yeah, I just like look at that art. Look at it. It looks so good. There we go. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around. What? Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness! Utter madness!
Show me the photograph of the chips again.
There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips.
Why, that makes 7,000 points when you add them up.
And there you go, yeah, Sengun was on the money with that one.
Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself.
Well, I'm glad I was the one who said it. But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed. The victim did have larger numbers of chips still.
Huh. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each other side of the table.
The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 and Phoenix 4,100 points.
Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all. That's impossible! My clients had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning! See, that is you calculating. But this is me calculating. Yeah! Now, Miss Orley. You must have known about the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you? My voice is going, chat. We're doing this until 11 o'clock, and then I'm gonna have to sign off. But yeah, we'll keep going for a little bit.
Order! Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive. And Mr. Right supposedly defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves.
Hold it!
Excuse me, was it Miss Orley?
Oh, I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see, See what, Miss Orley? What did we see? In the last hand, there was cheat.
Hello, Megan! Welcome on in. We're playing Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Have you ever played any of these games? TRG, thank you so much. Yeah, we haven't got that much lineage out of Thomas this stream. TRG official, you're also going to Book of Eternity.
You don't mean a trick?
Wait, do you mean a scam?
They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating?
No, I have not, but it looks hilarious. Yeah, it's very animated and colorful. The characters are very well drawn and very expressive. Very interesting as well, because they're not like regular people. They all have like a whole characteristic to them. And Orly over here, she is a dealing waitress, and yeah, that's all I'll say for now. Because I've already played these games, so I already know what's gonna happen.
Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand.
Another one. The last hand. Both men are had full house. There is 4 in each hand, each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. Da. The defendant's trick was exposed. He told bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
So it went like, can you already see how messed up this is? We started off as like, oh, being strangled. Oh, but now there was a bottle involved. Like, it's so obvious that she's lying. Why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
A full house is very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin? What's a full house?
Lawyers these days. You don't know your poker?
I can't say these bodes well for your case or career.
What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring?
Justice. You know the terms one pair, two pair, free of a kind, yes?
Yeah, no problem. Two cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a free of a kind.
Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 free of a kind. That's a full house.
That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player hands in this photo.
Wow, they both have full houses.
We forget an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question.
Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Right, let's have another look at the picture, though. Because, yeah, I do have my questions now as well. Oh, not that one. That one. No, okay, I wanted to double check if the aces were off, but they all seem to be different from each other. The last hand, both men had full house. Yeah, they did. There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. Yeah. If you look at both man's hand, cheat is more obvious. Oh, not that one. What about the black and white picture? That's a very good shout. Yeah, what's up? It seems that the cards are upside down for that one, whereas here they're flipped. Right? Oh, not that one. Yeah. No. They are facing full upward. Press it, see what happens. There's 2 ace hearts in the black and white picture. No, this is info spheres. Let's have a look. It's a bit hard to make out because you can't really see the shape, so I don't think there's anything with that yet. George says, I'm enjoying this so much, but I have to go to work in the morning, so it's bedtime. Thanks for the stream. No worries, Georgia. Yeah, and I hope you watch back the VOD. You're not going to miss that much, though, because I'm going to end the stream in 15-ish minutes. But yes, by all means, if you, have a good time at work tomorrow, and we'll see you hopefully soon. Mary Break says, there are cards on the ground in the black and white picture. Yeah, I thought that was from the arguing. So I'm not really sure about that one. How was it clear? Well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace. A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith had had 3 aces, and Mr. Wright's 2. Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony. There's a hand of 3 aces, Mr. Wright at 2. That's 5th aces. Well, I don't see that. There you go. Because if we look at the table, I don't see a 5th ace, right? So that's the one. Oops. Oh, I forgot to mention this. It's not in this collection, but in the originals with these games. These came obviously on the DS, and the DS had a microphone. And believe it or not, if you wanted to present, you were actually able to say objection to your Nintendo DS, and that would activate the objection. Same went for like hold it and all that kind of stuff, but that was a really cool little thing they didn't have to add in. So yeah, I completely forgot that was a thing that they did. Yeah, you could yell objection. I know, Sengui. It was so cool. Because it was such a gimmick, right? They didn't have to do it, but it was so much fun. Right, let's present it.
Objection!
Yeah, and Stu Sharp, I was also someone that played Phoenix Wright quite late as well. So it wasn't like I had the opportunity to really use the function a lot. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look at this piece of evidence. Clearly it contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the picture of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes. Please point out the contradiction in this photo. In what particular point?
Okay, I would say, it's one of the aces, but I don't fully remember which hand it was. Oh, this is probably also worth bringing up. You press square, you can bring up the previous messages that's been sent, and which is amazing because I believe in the DS games you didn't have that. So it's very easy to kind of like track back and see what people said. Okay, so Mr. Smith had 3 aces. He clearly doesn't. So we can point that out.
Take that!
Miss Orley, in your testimony, you've made the following claim. Mr. Smith has 3 aces, but as you can clearly see, the victim had only held 2 aces.
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where was his 5th ace? I see cheating, all right, and it's going on there in this courtroom.
2 aces in each hand. Each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. That was cheating. I swear to you. Oh, Ace Attorney. Yeah, you get it, Lee. That's why these games are amazing. Well, that's odd. She must be lying. Yet she's most sincere. I've seen her all day.
You're right to trust your instincts.
Mr. Gavin?
Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards? The actual cards? Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Order. Very well. The prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Chat, which hand do you think is more suspicious? Let me grab the court records again. I would say the hands with, with the higher number. So I would have said shady. But, I wonder what you guys say. Victim's hand. I'll make a quick poll. Like that. Let's have some fun. Oh, defendant, sorry. I meant defendant. Let's see. What is everyone else saying? Card was in borscht, duh. You know, I've never had that borscht, and I have no clue what it is. I love how divided we are on this topic, chat. It seems that we couldn't be more divided than ever. Lomode says, you think her arm must be very tired now. Yeah, because of the plate she keeps holding up. Oh, God. Perfectly balanced as it should be, right? Oh, goodness. I think, I'm gonna go for the defendant. See what happens. The defense would like to view the defendant's hand.
Very well. Mr. Payne, your evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well now, let's see what we have here.
Right, sir.
When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Use the right stick to turn it in every way, and triangle and square to zoom in and zoom out. That should give you a better perspective on the case.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, there's nothing really suspicious about Phoenix's cards. But they're all red. Yeah, they were using a different color as well. Okay, I see the pointer's not saying anything else. Ebak, if you're still here, I got a question for you. Sorry if you look, you don't need to answer if you're not here. I was wondering, like, what's your favorite first case in all of the games? Like, which one is your favorite? Because Apollo Justice, despite, what is it, how people feel about some of the cases, I think has the best one. Not unless you count utter confusion.
Perhaps you'd best examine the victim's cards next? Of course, you can always give these cards another look.
Examine the other hand.
Guess I'll examine the victim's cards.
Your Honor, the defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's hand.
Granted, but make it quick, Mr. Justice.
Don't worry, justice is always swift. Right, let's have a look. Oh! Well. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards, the back is different color. That's impossible. But that card...
What was that, Miss Orley?
No, yet. I merely said da, I'm ink.
Your Honor, Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Orley?
She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Order!
Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But the hood cards in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat with not my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Thank you, Lomo. Therefore, it is not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What?
John, wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness of Miss Olga Orley?
Are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses witness Olga Orley of murder. These little animations, they're gold.
Mr. Payne, where is our witness, Miss Orley?
It appears she has lost her conscientious, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice?
Your Honor!
It seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. One suggestion between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means?
This court cannot pronounce a verdict.
What?
I did it! I held out!
I see no point in prolonging the trial of the day. The prosecution will need to take further inquiries.
Phoenix set the thing!
Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what that means?
What were you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Penn,
Better get hot now.
you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous.
Thank you, Super Crash Bandicoot 1. For the bits.
Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternate between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was set before!
The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get missed.
No worries, Frank RTW. Good luck with your kids.
You used different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card was in the wrong color into the mix, which means there was cheating.
Yes, the card slipped into the deck, which would seem to indicate he's cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo?
Yes?
Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think of the last game. When was the card swapped?
When?
There are 3 board possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah. Thanks to the new news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck?
So, we can actually kind of see that. Let's have a look. I do remember seeing something. Well, if we have to believe that Phoenix didn't go after him, then I'd say that Shady Smith thought that Phoenix was cheating. Which we can see now is not in his deck. So I'd say the card was swapped after the murder. So that to make it look like as if Phoenix was the one leashing out to Shady Smith. So I'd say after. Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? That's ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly!
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly things in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh? When was the back of the cards are... Even when the back of the cards are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
That's true. That's quite true. That would mean that the cards in blue card... That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown. After the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on no question. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Mr. Wright, and our witness, Olga. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? I don't know. I'm gonna say someone else. The one who swapped the card wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga either, so... What are you suggesting? That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it would only make sense for you to name Miss Olga Orley.
Yes, I know.
But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would have made the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it would be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking of how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that indeed. After the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapped. First was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know the 2 colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number of cards. Right. The person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it out.
But there's one problem. According to the new case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, but not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Though, it's more than possible. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
It was Rosie. Dun-dun. I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, at the time of the incident, there was only 3 people in this room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns the assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for the brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.
Or it won't. Dun dun. Yes, I'm going to save it here, chat, and we are going to end the stream for today. There we go. Right, let's go to big webcam. Let's see. There we go, all running and working. Right, that was Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy for the PlayStation 4. We were playing it on a PS4 Pro over here.
Good work,
I just
kid.
want to quickly thank Capcom again for providing us with the key. It's always lovely to work with Capcom on this stuff because they make some of the best games in this industry. So thank you so much for making that possible, Capcom. Because you guys might remember we did that before with Monster Hunter Rise, which was also very fun to play with Liam, where we also did lots of voices from what I remember. But yes, Apollo Justice, it's a great trilogy. Like I said, I've played all 3 of them. I can highly recommend it myself as well. I genuinely mean that. I think they're great. If you've never played any of the Phoenix Wright games, I would highly recommend you check out Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy first. It's the very first one that has the first 3 games in it. Those are absolutely phenomenal. So do pick those up one day as well. They're on every platform. You get them on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever you fancy. It's even on PC. It's everywhere these days. It really is. So do check those games out. They have some of the best writing in this industry. I love those games. And I heard a lot of people were surprised about the colorful characters, but trust me, it can get way crazier with this franchise. I can highly recommend you check them out. Now, I don't know if these buttons still work, so I'm just going to try them. There we go. That's it. All right. So I'm just going to give a shout out to all of our channels in case you're new here. Obviously, if you haven't considered following us, please consider following us because we have lots of other cool streams coming your way. We have a TikTok and an Instagram. That's the best place if you want to see any of our short form content. We do lots of cool highlights over there as well as behind the scenes stuff that we do. Like we did a Lord of the Rings viewing over there as well. If you want to see Rose's reactions to that one, as well as loads of cool little pictures.
You're pretty good.
Trilogy, thank you so much for the bits. So do check those out. TikTok is also a good place for that. We have our Twitter and Blue Sky, which is the best place to stay up to date about where we're going to be streaming. I've been uploading a couple of doodles as well. If you haven't checked those out, go check them out on our Twitter. They're really cool. To celebrate the release of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and Tekken 8. If you got those games today, congratulations. This is an insane day for Rosie because Rosie loves those games. Thank you so much, Archduke. And what else do we have? We also have a book channel as well. If you are studying, working, or whatever, and you're looking for background noise, please consider looking at our book channel and subscribing to that one as well. We're super close to 500 subs on that one. And if we hit 500 subs, we can activate some of our subscription stuff over there as well. So we're super excited to get that activated. And what else do we have left? Yeah, we've got a main channel as well if you want to see more content. But yes, the book channel is a great place for that as well. Oh yeah, and the Discord. Oh, how can I forget? How can I forget the Discord? Yes, we're building constantly cool stuff in our Discord as well. If you want to stay in contact with me, Liam, and Rosie about whatever it is, even Ace Attorney and stuff, you can absolutely send it my way over there. So do check that place out as well. With that, we also have one more left. We have left the Book of Eternityyy. There it is. Still works, luckily. For subs, we've got Eback the Cat. Thank you so much for the sub. And for bits, we have got Kirby Rosstorm, Crash Bandicoot 1, Hobbitalion, TRG Official, Mr. James Ether, and Archduke of Prussia. I see that Lomo did that as well. So I'll note you're down as well, Lomo. Thank you so much for that. And I think, yeah, that's everyone, I believe. No, it is. Yeah, it is everyone. Thank you so much for all your support. Again, 100% of the money that we make in BuddyGames goes straight back into it. We are currently saving up for a camera, and we're super excited for that. And I'm going to talk to Liam about that very soon because we are practically hitting that ceiling with the camera. So yes, I'm looking very forward to that. Okay, about our schedule, now that we've done our second bonus stream, on Sunday we're doing Overblood 2, which thanks to GUI Goliath we're playing. We're going to be doing a one-off on that one. And on Wednesday, we'll be doing our Mass Effect playthrough again. We're going to be doing episode 3 on that one. So if you want to see Rosie and Liam play more Mass Effect, please consider watching that one as well. I've got nothing more else to add other than thank you so much for joining me on this one. And we'll all see you on Sunday for more BuddyGames stuff. Right. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.